sports and athletics have been and still are an area where our black brothers and sisters have made us proud. And there have been many of these great athletes who have not only excelled on the field or in the ring, but as it is with Jim Brown and Ray May, they've excelled as citizens because they've gone back into the black community to help their brothers. Jim Brown is helping to establish black businesses within the inner city, and Ray May is giving guidance and support to black youngsters in need of direction. Jim, you are the founder of the Black Economic Union. How's it going?
First of all, I'll state some examples and I'll tell you why we have not been successful or never will be able to say that we are successful. Main Bout Incorporated was the first corporation in boxing that included blacks. It included 2 Muslims, a Jewish guy, an Irish guy, and myself. That was because Muhammad Ali had the foresight to want a company like this set up. I set it up. It was the first time that blacks could participate in exhibiting fights across the country. Fantastic company, because with that company you can control boxing. All right, we have a hair sheen company out here called Magnificent Products. The Black Economic Union was instrumental in dealing with that company, helping that company get off the ground in the early days. That is now a product that is across the country. New Breed Industries, which was the first group of blacks that started with making the Darseekers in New York. Fantastic idea, fantastic opportunity. It's not in existence now, but it was a great idea with great possibilities.
Yeah, I bought some of them,
yeah. All right, then you know. All right, those are 3 examples of top-flight, money-making corporations that were controlled by blacks. Mm-hmm. We were instrumental in all of that. But probably more than that, we were instrumental in getting other organizations to start dealing with economics, because everybody was interested in integration and moving into neighborhoods and being with white people. And none of our great leaders talked about controlling the economic wealth in our own neighborhoods. It was being drawn out every day. Nothing was ever coming in. That's why you would develop more and more slums. So we did set that example. But the reason I said that we are basically not successful, because no nonprofit charitable organization can corral all of the black companies or set up all the black companies in the United States. That is totally ridiculous. But private enterprise becomes the thing. There should be numbers of black private corporations doing many things, some utilizing foundation money, some utilizing private money, some utilizing government monies, because there are fantastic sums of monies out there to be used if black people in these corporations understand the red tape and understand the technique that it takes to get these monies loose. And the last thing I'd like to say is that black financing has to become something that black people think of. For example, movies. You have no black financiers. So we say they don't give us parts, they don't let us do that. But right now, the way that the movie industry is, if we get some black financiers, we can do anything on the screen that we want, and we can get it distributed, and we can control it.
Ray, you, how many kids are you working with?
6-year program, working with just 4 or 5 kids, and I've got 3 of them now in college down in South Carolina, and I have to just go from what I've done with them. And one's did not graduate from high school. He was kind of promoted out, the GED, you know, equivalency test. But now in his first 2 semesters in school, he's been on the dean's list 2 times in a row. He's made 3 B's and an A the first year and 2 A's, 2 B's the second year. These are the levels that I can only rate what I've done on. You know, I mean, if I've done anything, they've done most of it. And so they're coming back, you know, I mean, they're going to be the ones that see if the program works out at all, because, I mean, it's up to them now. Mm-hmm. I give them the ball and they run with it, you know, and I just hope there's through respect and whatever they see through other people, you know, it takes hold, it takes grasp in that they want to learn something and out of what they just see in their own peer groups, because a lot of them don't leave the ghetto until they're ready to die. And if you can get them out and just get them aware of what's going on, you know, then let them run with it, then they can do it.
Do you have to get rough with them?
Well, everybody wants, you know, they want to smell my stuff every once in a while, you know. And so practical application comes in, you know, but is just a matter of speaking. They learn by getting a whipping in the ghetto.
Yeah.
They don't get talked to. I mean, your cat come to you and talk to you. Your first suspicion is this cat wants something out of me. You know,
right.
So maybe I should knock him in the head and find out. And these are things that teach them, you know. I mean, we can't get away from that because this is what we've learned. And
Did either of you have any special guidance when you were kids? Jim, did you?
Oh, very definitely. Yeah, I was very fortunate. I was a part of an organization called the Police Boys Club, and they had great emphasis on sports. And at the time, I was the head of a gang called the Gaylords. So there was a conflict there, you see. You know, the Gaylords wasn't really a very bad gang. We gave socials and ran around the streets and chased girls. But I got interested in sports through the Police Boys Club, and that interested me to the point where it led me on to higher education. And the people there were fantastic, and the people at my high school were fantastic. And right now, I go back to them for guidance rather than the college teachers or rather than my coaches and my business associates now, because they love me, you see. And they gave me that strength and confidence to do my thing, see. And I always go back to that source of power, you know.
And you were their man. What city was that?
That was Manhasset, Long Island, New York. And they're the people now that I think of most, because when I was in those formative years, they gave me the thing that I think that I possess now to keep me going, you know.
Right. Ray, did you have any special guidance as a kid?
well, I think most of my guidance came from my peer groups. And as Jim, I was not a leader, so to speak. It's just a bunch of us that got together and got into as much trouble as you can get into, just outside, inside the law, any way you want to look at. But just a brotherhood that kind of existed that you can't explain, as a brotherhood exists in a football field or in any type of profession. Without that brotherhood, it just makes life a whole lot unbearable. I mean, it really can't exist hardly without somebody you can depend on. You can go for yourself and say, I can make it on my own, but then again, you just can't make it on your own. I don't care what you're trying to do. You can't even die on your own anymore. And so everybody needs somebody, but without that existence, without that one entity that exists, and I think is a parental guidance, people just don't make it. And it's from broken homes or anything without it. So I didn't get any special activity at that point. I was just on my own to do as I wanted. I didn't play high school football until my last part of my senior year. And then from that, they gave me offers to go to school, and it would take a burden off my parents. And that's the reason why I kept going with it.
Yeah. Well, what area do you think that young black people need the guidance in most?
Well, I think more than anything else, we don't respect one another totally. There's such a thing as, are you going to contribute, or are you going to make a total sacrifice to a friend, to a sports activity, or to any type of profession you want to get into? And there's a joke that goes along with it. And it's about a chicken and a pig. And they were walking down the street, and they walked in front of this huge restaurant made world famous by bacon and eggs. You know, so this chicken was looking at the pig and said, Mr. Pig, don't you realize that without my eggs, this restaurant would not be in existence today? And the pig looked down at the chicken and said, Mr. Chicken, to you, it's a contribution, but to me, it's a total sacrifice. And I think this is how you have to, this is how it has to relate to anything you want to get done. If you're going to contribute, well, on that level, you get that in return. I mean, and if you're going to make a total sacrifice, it's got to be just a total sacrifice, you know. No two ways about it.
Yeah, I think that story is worthy to be included in Aesop's fable. What about the black youth who thinks that becoming an athlete is the only way? What do you say to him, Jim?
Well, first of all, Jimmy, you know, we're talking about blackness, you know. See, and I have my opinion on that. So I think that one day there won't be any such thing as blackness as such, as we have to talk about it in America today. And so consequently, I would like kids to understand that we're only talking about them as a special group because the man have put that particular thing on us. So if you consider that, then the first thing I think a kid should know is that he should know something about his true culture, not as it is taught to us today, but something about his true culture, you see. So I really don't want to, get off into a special thing of blackness, because I think that economics are very important here. I think that if we're going to live here long enough, we're all going to be Americans at some point, and that emphasis on blackness will go away. So my advice to young people is that they should find out what this country is all about. They should be taught what it takes to be successful here. How, not just to go to college or to go to school or get a formal education, but to be able to know what makes this television program possible.